On today's episode of Employment Law After Hours, we begin our 4-part mini-series on employee hiring. Whether you are hiring your first employee or hiring your 100th employee, the right hiring practices are some of the most important to the management of a company. Proper practices and legal compliance not only reduces potential liability, but also greatly enhances employee retention. Our goal is to answer the hiring questions that keep HR professionals up at night. Let's jump right to the hiring process. The first requirement is to verify that your business entity has an employer identification number, otherwise known as an EIN. This is free and easy to register online and essentially serves as the social security number for your business. Please note that some states and local municipalities also require state-level registration for employers, so make sure you're checking your specific state laws as well. The IRS publishes a fancy guide for employers regarding taxes. See the link down below for more information. Second, you'll need to decide on a payroll system to process paychecks and handle tax and court order deductions. You need to make sure your employees are getting paid, or that leads to your employees having a bad time. Many companies use systems like ADP or Paychex, which essentially provide all-in-one accounting systems. Larger employers may also use in-house payroll processors and/or accountants to handle the payment management system. If you are starting out, I would recommend you speak with your accountant about what system may work best for you, or otherwise reach out to ADP or another payroll processing company for more information on the services that they can provide. Third, you may need to register with your state's workers' compensation agency or otherwise obtain workers' compensation insurance. Most states operate on a workers' compensation insurance system, essentially insurance that you'll purchase in the event a worker gets injured in the performance of their job duties. Employers are required to register and/or purchase this insurance regardless of how safe their work environment appears to be. Fourth, now that the government red tape is out of the way, let's jump to the actual hiring process. You'll need to evaluate your hiring needs. Which positions need to be replaced? Which positions need filled? Are you looking to add a whole new position to your company? Regardless, you will need to develop the job requirements for the position and use those to draft a job description. These job descriptions will ultimately be used to craft your notice of an opening, which will be posted online, social media, or hey, even your local newspaper if that's your choice. If you already have a candidate in mind, it is still recommended that you have a job description in place. For people inquiring about an opening, have them complete a job application form. We'll have more information on these forms in the next episode, so make sure to subscribe for free so you do not miss out on that information. Now, let's move on to the interview process, starting with our 5th point. Once you have your resumes and applications collected, it is time to conduct the interview process, interviewing the most qualified candidates based on their resumes and applications. This is more of an art than a science. We'll have more information in our next episode as well for the things to watch out for during the interview process. Once you have selected your candidate, it's time to move on to the required paperwork, which leads us into our 6th point. You'll want to document the offer of employment in writing to your selected candidate, which will contain the rate of pay, salary or hourly, depending on the legal requirements of the position. And you'll want to highlight any extra benefits the employee may receive, such as health insurance, a 401k, PTO, sick time. Many employers also request that the applicant accept the terms of employment by signing the offer letter or otherwise responding with an acceptance via email. There are many forms of offer letters available, ranging from simple one-page highlights of the pay and benefits to extensive legal contracts covering many areas of employment. We will have a future episode discussing the differences and what may work best for you and your company. Next, on to point 7. Either prior to or on the first day of employment, you'll need to have the employee complete the IRS Form W-4, which concerns payroll tax deductions, along with the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Form I-9, which concerns whether the employee may legally work in the United States. You also need to find out if you need to register your new employee with your state new hire reporting agency. Many states have this requirement, and you'll be able to find more information out via the link in the description. Now that you have the onboarding complete, let's move on to point 8. Employers should then spend time adequately training their employees on the job duties that are outlined in the job description that you previously developed. You want to educate those employees on specific company policies such as break periods, computer usage, clock-in procedures, and other necessary items to know for your company. One of the main keys to employee retention is their ability to adequately perform their job duties to your your expectations. This all starts with training. Spend time answering their questions. After a few weeks, meet with the employee again to address any additional training, correct deficiencies, or answer additional concerns that they may have. Remember, training and feedback is an ongoing process that should last for the entirety of the employment relationship. Now, let's move on to handbooks with point 9. You should take the time to consider developing an employee handbook, especially if you have more than 1 or 2 employees. Not only do handbooks contain necessary language such as equal employment opportunity statements and harassment discrimination policies, but they also contain policies specific to a company, such as safety and OSHA policies. The PTO and other benefits provided, dress code, attendance requirements, and other information you'd want your employees to know should also be included in that handbook. You will also need to print or purchase the required state and federal employee notification posters. These are the posters we have all seen in the clock-in area of a business and are required under law. A link is in the description below containing a few of the federally required posters and a process you can go through in your state to determine which posters you may need. Next, let's move on to point 10 with our personnel file and record keeping. So here's a quick pro tip. When you start with your first employee, develop a personnel policy system that makes record keeping easy. Certain employee records are required under state and federal law to be kept for certain periods of time, such as in Ohio where we recommend 7 years. A paper or electronic file folder with limited access can help you keep all of your required forms and information together. You can also keep performance reviews and discipline reports in this same folder. We intended this episode to be a general summary and guidance of the hiring process, but there's lots of more information to know that we couldn't fit into one episode. So subscribe so you do not miss out on these other great episodes on the screen now, or part 2 of our hiring series covering the 10 red flags when interviewing and hiring employees. Don't forget to comment down below with any questions or comments you have regarding the hiring process. We'll see you again next time.